Hello, hello, hello. Good to see you. You get fairy dust. I get fairy dust. Little Emily gets fairy dust. And all the Kardashians get fairy dust. It's time for another episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. We're on season 1, episode 8. And in this episode was Kourtney, when she was 16 or 17, took some naked photos of herself. And then apparently Kim, at some time later than that, took them as a joke, and they got into the hands of somebody. And at this time, earlier in their fame, that person was threatening to put these pictures online. So that's what the big drama is of this episode. And so just take a look at this clip.
This is Kourtney. I'm responsible for ruining someone's life.
Kim, you're not responsible for something that Kourtney did in high school.
Okay, so this is right after Kim finds out that her publicist or somebody told her that, told her that it was going to be online, and then she got really upset, of course, which is the appropriate reaction. But what's so interesting here, so she's upset, she feels terrible because if she hadn't played that joke, which that seems like a very cruel joke, if it's a joke to take someone's naked photos, it's a very vulnerable thing to make light of. So, but they were kids, whatever. But I think saying it's a joke is, you did something wrong. It's not a joke. You did something that was not very nice. Anyway, let's just all make a promise that we will never take anyone's naked photos, and we won't say that it's a joke. That's not a joke. Okay, so Kim is actually experiencing the consequences, right? So she's actually very upset. It's a little hyperbolic, but maybe not, we never know what these things are going to cost people. And so, she's saying that she ruined Kourtney's life, which that may have been, but, it may be, but just she's very upset, which is appropriate because that is the consequence of doing something like that, taking something very sacred to someone, very private, and making it not safe, And so, but what the fascinating thing here is, so she says, it's my fault. I'm ruining her life. I've ruined Kourtney's life. And Kris takes that consequence away from her. Kim's feeling terrible. And Kris says, it's not your fault. You haven't ruined your life. You haven't ruined her life. It was her that took the photos. And that is a complete, that is fucked up. I get like a mother trying to make one of her children feel less bad about something that they did that led to a terrible consequence. But I just found it interesting that the blame got put back on Kourtney. Like if she hadn't taken the pictures in the first place, this wouldn't happen. And that is true. Except for the fact that most likely, if she had kept custody of those pictures, it would have been a non-issue. Like they say in the show, everybody's taking pictures. Everybody's taking pictures of everybody. It's a very normal thing that people do. It's not like, and maybe when this first came out, it was more shocking or whatever. But a lot of people do it like it's just part of it, And so, again, but I just thought it was interesting, and people do this, like but what I want to say is it is actually hard to watch your kids suffer a consequence that they suffered, but to allow them to have it and to face the consequence and all their feelings about the consequence is actually really healthy. And these are adults, all of our kids are actually full-grown adults. But I think it applies to, our kids when they were little. Like it's actually we never want to see our kids suffer, but to take away a consequence, it also takes away the learning, so Kris, by saying that, is saying it's not your fault. She's trying to take the consequence away from her. But I just find it interesting that she put it on Kourtney. And one of the reasons this may happen, again, I have no idea. And remember, these shows, we don't know if any of it's real. But Kim seems to be a hero of the family. Like, it's kind of a joke. It was on previous episodes. Like, Kim's face is her screensaver, So, and it's just what is, And so a hero of the family, the favorite, the golden child, whatever you want to call it, in this instance, the golden child has made a mistake. And again, I have no idea if she is a golden child. I'm just, if she is, if this character, it seems there's a lot of qualities that make her, again, they've said, all of them say that Kim's the favorite. So is typical. Is typical. So when the good child, the favorite, the family's favorite, the one that they push out into the world to say, like, look, we're not such a shitty family. Like, this is, look this, it can't be this, whatever. And they will try to take the consequence away from the golden child so that they get to have them keep playing that role. It's not their fault. And so I just thought that was a very interesting dynamic that happened like in just a split second. It happens in just a split second. Another thing to say is, like, you can comfort the kid who's suffering, like, oh, sweetheart, oh, I can imagine how you feel. That's so hard. You know what? You're going to figure out how to make this right with Kourtney. You're going to figure this out. There's other ways instead of trying to steal the consequence by saying, absolutely, it's not your fault. You have nothing to do with it. Actually, that isn't true. That's actually not even factually true. So anyway, okay, so now it's time to watch another clip.
Kourtney's photos?
Kourtney's photos. They've resurfaced. And we've got a big problem because somebody was trying to sell the pictures to a magazine. So you need to keep Kourtney busy. She's not going to tell her? She's going to tell her, but she needs time to... It's very stressful in there.
Okay, more crazy making. So it's really healthy. Like, the parents can take a minute. We can take a minute not to figure out how to solve the problem, but take a minute to figure out how we're going to tell the kid who this involves, right? And so, but what Kris does instead, again, remember, this is a TV show, and so this is part of the drama. Like, this is part of, what would be interesting. There's producers involved, et cetera, so we don't know if this really happened, but Kris's first response isn't to go to Kourtney and take care of Kourtney. Kourtney is the one who this is her issue that she's going to have to figure out how to deal with. And the sooner, again, we can take a minute, but the sooner we can, because that is a way a parent protects a child, is go to the child and also tell the child, we're going to figure this out. We're going to figure this out together. Again, these are adults, but still, it's your grown child. So, let's just say, hey, I just need to let you know this is happening. But I want to tell you, these are the things that I'm working on to try to make it not happen. We don't know if that's going to work, but, just to start the problem solving with the person who is actually the one who will suffer. And so, again, I'm not saying we don't need to take a minute, but what she does instead is she triangles with the other kids. And so she triangles, and when we triangle, and especially it's like she's telling her to watch Kourtney, like deal with Kourtney, there's no way that Khloe isn't carrying this tension and this stress, right? And so she's gonna go in there and keep her busy. And the whole house is full of stress. This is an emergency to them. It would be an emergency to any of us. And so it's an emergency. And to make somebody who's now experiencing emergency, the cortisol, adrenaline, to go babysit another adult who it's actually going to impact the most, and not letting that person have, they're taking away the agency from Courtney, who is again 28 years old at this point. They're taking away her agency. So there's lots of not great, but anyway, you're triangling. And when you do that, you're taking away the relationship you actually have with one of your daughters, you know? So it's like you're going to, Kim knows this, and now it's a Kim and Kris secret. And now they're going to involve Courtney in the secret, which is something that happens. Like one thing, and when I was recently researching about triangles, one of the reasons why we do triangle is that the stress in the family is so much that we need more people to be involved to help us cope with it. Again, still not problem solving the problem, trying to heal the problem. It's more about stirring more and more of the family up, because if you're stirred up, then I don't have to be as stirred up. So that's one of the reasons we do triangles. So now we have a triangle of knowledge, and remember, knowledge is power, between Kim, Kris, and and Khloe. And we're asking sisters, and it's just, at this point, it's just Courtney and Khloe. We're asking these sisters to not have a real relationship because she's faking it. She's hiding something from her. And again, there's no way that we don't pick up on the vibes of the house. And you could see, like, Courtney is like, okay, like, this is weird. Like, she could tell something was wrong and weird. But what I find is so interesting, she didn't say, go hide Courtney or go, keep her away because I'm working on this. And when I go to her, I want to have the solutions. It wasn't that. It was Kim stressed out. Because Khloe, like, the more that I watch this, the more I bow down to Khloe. Like, Khloe is number one. I am watching this. I'm actually thinking the reason this show has lasted as long as it has is because of Khloe. Khloe is so fucking funny, and she keeps it going. Like, she's really remarkable as far as her on camera charisma, etc. But anyway, Khloe's immediate thing, she's not going to tell her. Why did she have that reaction? Because that's the normal reaction. Confusion. This thing is happening. She knows about it, and she's not going to go directly to the person. And then Kris says, no, let's keep the triangle going. No, it's really stressful in there. Again, placating to the one who is upset about this, who is actually the one that needs to be upset about it because they caused it. And one of the reasons we want to experience our consequences is so we don't make the same mistakes in the future. But if somebody takes our consequences away, we might make the same mistake.
Why was the FBI here?
The FBI was here because those are the people that you call when you have a really big time grown-up problem, and they come to help. I'll tell you more about it when you're grown up, okay?
So you just saw, Kris says earlier, when this kind of drama goes on in our family, it's hardest on the little kids. And I think that, that's valid. These kids were home and they saw the FBI coming. So remember when I said the thing about Courtney, like, it's as a parent or a friend or whatever of somebody, and you found out some upsetting information, and you want to hold on to that information for a minute because you are actually working on some problem solving. So when you go to give the hurtful, hurtful, scary information, you can also say, and this is where we are right now. And, so I'm not saying, like, the minute we hear something devastating about a person, like, we absolutely need to run to them. Like, I think it's fair we could take a minute and assess and discern about what the next right thing is. So one of the things, you know how when they say, like, people don't get a divorce because of the kids, and it's so funny how we think about these kinds of things, but what we're saying then is that kids have no social intelligence. Because let me tell you something, even if they do not hear you fight, they can still hear your contempt for each other. They can still feel the elephant in the room. And the thing about elephants in the room, if the adults aren't acknowledging them, the children don't know what to do with them. And they're scared. And so that's when, these trauma responses can happen, can get formed as like something bad is happening and no one's telling me what to do. So kids, all they truly, so in this case, we don't need to, it's always age appropriate. So, what I thought was interesting about this clip is I thought Kris was handling it well. Well, the FBI was here because they help adults solve their problems. And then she says, and I'll tell you about it when you're older. And so, or when this episode airs. But what's interesting is kids just want to fucking know that we're okay. That's all they want to know. They don't even need to know the rest of the information. But what I think could have been helpful in this particular case is, and again, we use age appropriate language. We don't tell kids all the details of the horrible things going on, but if we tell them that we're okay, that this is also a learning opportunity for them. So one thing is you tell, hey guys, I just want to let you know the police are coming here. There's something going on, but it's for adults to take care of. But what I will tell you is mama's got this. What I will tell you is, if there's something that you can do or if there's something that you need to know, I promise I will tell you. But what I do want you to know is, we have all these people that support us. I have a lawyer and I have these people that handle things like this for us, and we have friends and we have people that protect us when things go wrong. So do you see how you're teaching a child like, oh, it's actually going to be helpful to me when I'm an adult to have a support system, and like, oh, this is how, because we're all talking about like, we don't know how to fucking adult. Well, this is how we could have learned. Like, oh, when shit goes down, we ask all these people to come help us. We ask our friends and family to come support us. We comfort each other. But what I thought could be helpful here is just that piece of like, they're here and it is adult things. So how sometimes we have adult things but it's not a secret that something is happening. But what I want to tell you is that we've got it taken care of. Mommy and daddy and your big sisters, like we have this, and we're here to protect you. And, it has nothing to do with you. It's just some adult stuff about the media. They already know there's cameras in their house, right? So they already kind of know. So there was a way to so then what that does for a kid, instead of saying, I'll tell you about it when you get older, that sets up like, well, I gotta, and I don't know about you, but every age I can remember, I always remember it as if I'm an adult. And so I always think I can't handle these things. And so I would have tried to figure it out, or I would have tried to listen at the door. If you tell kids like things are going on and, but again, if they wanted details, you can say, well, here's what I can tell you. It has to do with X, Y, or Z. So nobody's sick. Like, is somebody sick? Like, we don't know. Like, are we in trouble? Is the police here to arrest us? It's like, police are here to help us, which that is what she said. But that's what our kids truly, truly, truly want to know. And so we can tell them again in an age appropriate way. And also just a thing to remember is when I'm saying like tell the kids about things, I'm saying tell them when you're okay. It's not great. So anyway, if I was a mess and the police were at my house, I would tell my kids, hey, something's going on and I want you to know I've got it taken care of. And as soon as it's done, I'm going to come in here and talk to you. Or as soon as I talk to my friend, or as soon as I'm going to come in here and talk to you, because I need to get my mind right before I address my kids so that they know that, again, all their kids want to know. Is the adult okay? Because guess what they get to do when they know that the things are okay? When they know that the adults are okay, when they know people are going to take care of it, they get to go play. They get to go have their child. But if we, again, and I'm not saying Kris did anything wrong here. I'm just like, we're trying to glean psychological lessons, anything that we can from, just the example of the show. So anyway, so I hope that's helpful. Love you.